Okay, good to be back. We're looking forward to the season. We're anxious to see what we can do. We had a little difficult stretch in the middle of the year last year. We lost some games where we had basically a 2-touchdown lead, couldn't hold it, couldn't stay on the field, couldn't stop the other team, and had a disappointing mid-season. But really proud of the way our guys turned it around, won 3 of the last 4. Won the bowl game against University of Miami, 24-21 in Shreveport. So we got rejuvenated. We feel good going through the off season, being a winner, being 7-6. I know that the teams in Knoxville and the teams in Fayetteville, Arkansas certainly were fired up and very happy to be 7-6, and we were too. We don't get quite the credit that they do for being happy, but we were a happy bunch of Gamecocks to go 7-6 last year, because it could have been worse. We know that. We're thankful. We're appreciative. We're going to try to do better this year. I've hired a new defensive coach, John Hope. He's going to coordinate with Lorenzo Ward and pretty much call the shots from the secondary. John Hope was with me at Florida my last year, 2001. We led the conference in total defense and scoring defense that year. Had a heck of a team. One of the best teams we ever had there. Played 2 close games and lost both of them. And finished 3rd in the nation. After that season, we both went to the NFL. I lasted 2 years, and John Hoke lasted 13 years. So he's a little stronger NFL coach than I was. But he's back with us. He's worked with some really outstanding defensive coaches, Rod Marinelli, the Cowboy coordinator, Lovie Smith, head coach at Tampa Bay Bucks. And I think we'll be organized better. We've got some new players, new defensive linemen. I think we're going to be vastly improved. Everybody's worked well together, and we're looking forward to this coming season.
We'll start here on the right side, front row.
Coach Spurrier, congratulations on all you've accomplished in this league and this sport.
Okay.
You spent most of the morning kind of digging at Arkansas and Tennessee.
Digging?
And I think
I'm not digging. Let's get this straight. We're just as happy as they are going 7-6. That's the point I was trying to make. Some people tried to say we had a terrible season going 7-6. It was not a terrible season. If we had a terrible season, then Tennessee and Arkansas they didn't have a terrible season.
Right.
That's all I was trying to say.
But they didn't win 11 the year before, and they've been
That's
hecking
true.
back.
They didn't have Arkansas and Tennessee didn't have a losing record when their head coach took over either. Overall losing record at South Carolina. So we're not as powerful every year as we had hoped to be. It was not as good as we had hoped. We were actually picked to win the East last year. And
right, that's one of the differences.
That's one of the differences. And when the media picked us to win the East on the all-conference defensive team, preseason all-conference, we had one guy on the 3rd team. So I said, how do they think we're supposed to win this thing? 1/3 team defensive back made preseason all-conference. Now, all I'm trying to say is our team wasn't as strong as it's normally been. We got overpicked somehow, and we didn't coach very well. I didn't coach very well. But we won 3 of the last 4. And we went 7-6, just like Arkansas and Tennessee, and I think we're just as happy as they are. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not a dig. 7-6 isn't bad. I was talking to Kevin Sumlin. He said, I got to tell our people out there 8-5. 5's not all terrible either in winning a bowl game. And it's not all terrible. Everybody can't win. And sometimes when you win more than you lose, unless you're at Alabama, places like that, it's not too bad. That's all I was trying to say. No dig. I congratulate both those schools, especially Arkansas, the way they turned around their team. And I've mentioned that to Brett several times.
Left side, front row. Go ahead.
Yep.
Coach, you talked about the defensive improvements you guys want to make this year, but what about on the offensive side? What are some things that you came away from end of year evaluation saying we need to do much better at this?
Well, if you look at the statistics, which don't mean a lot, but it sort of tells you where you need to get better, I guess. Defensively, we gave up more yards and more points than any team ever, and offensively, we were the 2nd best ever to the team the year before when Connor Shaw played and led us to that 11-2 year. But we got some new players. John Hoke involved heavily as defensive coordinator with Lorenzo Ward, and I think some new defensive linemen are really going to help our defense. But time will tell. Time will tell. We're not picked to do too much, and that's probably about what we deserve to be, because we weren't all that strong last year. But somehow or another, again, we managed a winning season out of it.
We'll switch back to the right side, stay on the front row.
Coach, you talked about a couple games last year where you gave up 2 touchdown leads. Talk about some of the things you've done maybe in the spring and what you're going to do in the fall to work on finish this year.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. We actually did some situational work in that situation. And it was a combination. Offensively, we needed to make some first downs, didn't do it. And then defensively, we didn't tackle very well. We let the guys get out of bounds, and they eventually went down and scored. But hopefully just, just got to play better, coach better, and play better.
Coach, we're going to switch over here to the left side, front row.
Steve, you mentioned in the other room that Lorenzo Nunez, great runner, pretty good passer. What specifically does he need to work on in order to get significant playing time this fall?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen him much yet. He just got here in the summer. So I've seen him run around a little bit. We're not out there when they're throwing the ball around. I asked some of the guys, how's he throwing? And they said, Coach, he can run fast. He's a fast, good athlete. But he's a good passer. I mean, he threw for a lot of yards. But he'll work on it as we go and so forth. But I think he's a good passer. I don't know how great any of them are right now. But obviously a quarterback that can run and throw gives you that dual threat that the defensive coaches don't like to see, those guys.
We'll stay on the left side. Go ahead.
Coach, since Missouri's joined the conference, they've already won the division twice. What have you thought of their program since joining?
Oh, they've been very good. I really like Coach Pickle. I think he does an outstanding job. Their defense plays tough, smart, one of the best defenses each year, and their offense does enough to win about every game. For them to go 7-1 in the conference 2 years in a row, that's very good, very good. One of the guys was saying, you guys have a little rivalry with them. We have what they call the Battle of Columbia's. Columbia, South Carolina, Columbia, Missouri. Got a nice trophy. Guys get to grab the trophy and run off the field. Unfortunately, they grabbed it and ran off our field last year, but we had a chance to hang on to it the 2 years prior. But they're a good, solid team. They don't beat themselves, that's for sure.
Back of the room on the right.
Chad Scott from 1010XL Radio in Jacksonville. You've got a couple of Jacksonville quarterbacks on your roster, Perry Orth and Michael Scarnecchia. How are they progressing to get playing time?
They're 2 wonderful young men. They do everything you ask and a little bit more. Michael Scarnecchia had a nice spring game, led the team on about an 80-yard drive and hit a little slant to Terry Guger for the touchdown to win the game. I think 14-13. Was that it? Yeah, 14-13. Not a lot of scoring. But, they're all doing well. All those quarterbacks are doing well. Hopefully one will maybe separate himself and say, hey, I'm a little bit better. So we got a lot of preseason work to do to establish our quarterback.
Back row on the right.
Coach, kind of break down the Eastern Division and where you think everything falls. Seems like you could throw a hat over a number of teams as a favorite.
Well, let me brag on the Eastern Division a little bit now. We're 5-0 in bowl games. You people know that? At Western side, they got Arkansas won and Texas A&M won, I think. So other than that, Eastern Division, we upheld the SEC a little bit in bowl games. So proud of all of our Eastern Division teams. Where do we see it? I don't know where we see it. The media experts, I don't know who they got. They got Georgia. Georgia, obviously. Georgia's always up there. Georgia usually has the best recruiting class of all of us. Tennessee's been up there too, I guess. But Georgia, I guess, will be picked, and probably rightfully so. And then after that, whoever, I'll let you guys do the picking. Yeah.
We have time for one more for Coach Spurrier. We'll take it here on the right side. believe it's second row. Go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned the East, the 8 tough conference games. You got North Carolina at the front, Clemson at the back, and UCF kind of hiding there in September. How do you feel about the schedule this year with 11 pretty tough games, it looks like?
Yeah, it is. I think some magazine voted us the toughest schedule in the SEC. But that's just the way it is. We'll try to play them one at a time. And when you play 8 conference games plus 2 ACC teams, Clemson, North Carolina we play, Central Florida, a very good team over the years, and Citadel gives us fits. Citadel, Wofford, both those teams always close game with them. But we've got to go play them one at a time. We're capable, and we're really looking forward to seeing what we can do this year. All I was trying to say is the 7-6 season at South Carolina is not a terrible year, and don't anybody ever think it is. Now, it might be at Alabama, but we don't quite have the tradition that Alabama's got. And so I'm proud of our guys. They don't need to get blasted for going 7-6 and winning a bowl game.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.